my prime minister, my prime minister said that we are kind of preparing for isolating Russia moving forward. Like after the war is going to be like isolation of Russia. And I was just, my first reaction was, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think anybody's going to isolate Russia. And I've learned to not trust that politicians actually know what they're speaking about. I learned that from actually following them, because everything they say is just, I don't know. And they made a thing out of looking up all the promises that politicians have made and how they like turned out in the end. And it was a lot of projects, it was a lot of promises that they made it, but it didn't kind of play out the way that they said it would have. So I was just, yeah, no, I need to look that up. How are Europe and Russia actually going to behave after this war towards each other? And we have both sides will want to move forward and reclaim control after a chaotic period, but their goal and direction differ. There is relief that the conflict phase is over, but also a sense of we'll only go as far as benefits us. Both sides act from self-interest and national satisfaction, not trust. They want to end the anxiety, sanctions, pressure, and sleepless nights, their exhaustion, and a quiet wish to heal. I think the sanctions might be both Europe and Russia, because they seem to bog down Europe quite a lot. They just don't want that to come out. They don't want everybody to see how much they're struggling with those sanctions too. It doesn't work, and it's just hindering relationships. There is deep distrust, fear, and limitation on communication or trade. They feel stuck in old patterns despite wanting peace. Yeah, the problems haven't really gone away. Like, you haven't worked on them, you haven't done anything. The only thing you have done is fuel more distrust. It doesn't, like, things doesn't just disappear. Magic doesn't really happen unless you actually work for it or you want it. It's yeah, stuck in old patterns. I don't know what they all believe. Like, this war is everybody's magical tool to release their dependency or stay like firm. Like, it is, I don't know, I said it before, like an utopian thing happening, or a delusion. Reality isn't like that. You have to work for it. You have to, and you can't work for it when you have like a war. You are what you are supposed to do is like, okay, fine, we keep everything as it is during the war, and then we make sane decisions when we aren't pressured like this, when there is no anxiety or fear, but you can't always do that, obviously. There were a cold distance in the past, and that I think is what my prime minister is kind of talking about, and he thinks is going to keep going. Like, there is going to be a distance between Russia and Europe, and where I just felt like, yeah, no, that's not happening. Don't act with pride or emotional dominance. Bold power displays will backfire. Build independence, stability, and self-reliance first. Economic recovery and self-respect before any reconciliation. Rebuild cautiously from destructions. Learn from destruction. Learn lessons from what collapsed. Be rational, clear, and diplomatic. Logic and fairness, not emotion, will restore a bridge. At the end, tense but enduring coexistence. They keep a guarded partnership, resilient yet defensive. Russia is withdrawn, cautious, introspective, but open to slow reconciliation once it serves stability. EU will be emotionally steady and materially pragmatic. They'll approach Russia with maturity, compassion, and business sense once conditions are safe. So I just feel like, firstly, this is probably not the EU leaders that we have today. I think the EU leaders we have today feel like what they have built up is going to kind of continue, no matter who is coming after them. And I don't think that's true. I think the people that are coming after is more like me. They have a more open, like, we don't want to fight. We feel like this is like just talk to each other. Because when I saw these cards and I read about this, I was just, these are not the people that are in charge right now. So that is the good thing about democracy, that also the bad thing, because the people that are in the place that they are in today don't ever have to kind of be accountable for what they have done, like how they have created this tension and war and whatever rhetoric they have used and whatever mindset they had, or that they actually kind of just kept going with instead of being calm, instead of being more rational, instead of being like, we don't want any fight with Russia here. We need to get to some kind of a talk with them. It's not the easiest thing. We don't get along, but like the diplomatic thing, they have done the exact opposite. It's been like children, in my view, like, and they speak nonsense, and whatever has come out that just made everybody look quite foolish. I don't see that is the energy that is going to be in the future after this war. So I think when I say that we need to change the leadership in Ukraine to actually move forward, because Zelensky sees this as his personal, like, he hates Putin, but that doesn't mean that everybody does. Everybody probably feels, yeah, that wasn't the best thing that happened, this storyline, this whatever it is, but they don't take it personally. But Zelensky, at this point, it's his war, is his like hero thing. He is supposed to kind of beat the bad people and so on and so forth. And I think when I saw these cards, it implies on the EU leaders too. So why am I not saying this about the Russians? I know that the Russian president is going to just sit where he is for a few years. If my cards are right, then someone else is going to. But they are very stubborn over there. I'm not stubborn. They have like, they are who they are. And I'm not seeing that changing like significantly. Like, they know who they are and they are very like set in that. And maybe they are going to be more open. Maybe they are going to be more, maybe they learn from this. Like, yeah, we might, this wasn't the best decision that we have made. But from the EU kind of point of view, I just feel like with the new people that is coming in, they are going to be quite different. That is why we have a democracy. That is why, like, changing the people is probably what's going to change this, and not necessarily anything that is made to be done now. I'm not seeing the next generation fueling this on or wanting like, yeah, let's keep this going or something. So I don't agree with my prime minister. I think that the people that are in the place that are in today feel like, yeah, no, we need to isolate Russia. We need to make them pay for this, and we need to, which is an old energy, by the way. That is what you used to do. It was like a successful thing to do in the past. You kind of pushed someone else down to kind of raise yourself, to like start to talk badly about someone, and then you looked good yourself. That is not the energy that we are in today and moving forward. We are supposed to kind of work together. We are supposed to get along and be like a community, and that is very utopian, obviously. And and it is like the old and the new that is kind of battling right now with and we see that like in everything. Like we know where we are going, but then reality right now doesn't fit that at all. So we have to, I guess, make up our own reality, and then maybe be the one that takes the first step. Maybe be the one that makes the thing before everybody else makes it, or have the plan before everybody else have it, and everybody just follows after that. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see who is going to be the European leader when this kind of shows. Like maybe it is when Macron actually has to leave and the new government there, or someone in Germany actually makes sense when they speak and they have the power to say, yeah, no, we are not going to continue this tension, or yeah, we are going to rebuild the Nord Stream, because that is not an impossible thing. It will take a lot of money, it will take a lot of, but I do feel like Europe is the one that is going to approach Russia more than Russia is going to, and then they just have to be open for it, obviously, and not like shut that door, or have a lot of grudges, or you know how you can be after you had like a disagreement like this. And like everything is possible. Do I think that it is was my prime minister? I get why he says it. He is just wrong when he says it. I understand the energy that we are in today, that he believes that the people that he has, like he is my prime minister for 6 months more. Then I don't know if he is for 4 more years. I start to hope no, because that is not the kind of a prime minister I want to have, to be honest. I want to have a prime minister that says that they are our neighbors and it's tense right now, and there is a conflict, but we solve it. Obviously, we will solve it in some way, and then we have peace in Europe again. I don't know how, but eventually we you don't have to worry. Like that is the kind of prime minister I want to have. Someone that in some way doesn't fuel this, like we're going to hate Russia, because they are there. They're not going away. Like it's our neighbors, is and then obviously being like independent and self-reliant. And do I think that the oil and gas from Russia will ever just like be zero between Europe and no? And eventually, when we exchange our EU leaders, they will start to like, wait, why are we paying this much for like oil from whatever, when we have Russia and we have a Nord Stream that we can just like fix? Ukrainians now, someone said now it's like out there, it's fact that it is the Ukrainians that have blown it up. And So the next might be feeling like, yeah, no, we are kind of fixing that. It will cost like 500 billion euros, I think. I don't know how they will get that money, but who knows. So my prime minister is not correct there at all. And time changes, and we're moving towards people that are more like me, like more open. We don't want to fight. We just get along, and we want peace. And people will fight that, like people in high positions will. Last time we were in this energy, the king wanted to keep on the war while his like generals in the army tried to, I think they succeeded with, like they met up because no one wanted, like Sweden was broke, no one wanted to continue this, it went absolutely nowhere. And I can't remember which year this was, last time we had the planet that I'm talking about was in this position like a long time ago. And as I said, the king, we had a war and the king wanted to continue. He was like a maniac. He was very obsessed with this war. And the generals had like a secret meeting. I can't remember if they succeeded or not, but I think the war ended like shortly after for some reason. I can't remember if he won or if he didn't, but there was some kind of a mutiny, and the people want this to stop. And he just kept going. He was just like a maniac. And it's the same, I just see the same pattern here. Like the EU leaders are speaking nonsense. And the EU people, the Europeans, actually don't want this to continue at all. So I don't know. I don't know how to fix this. Eventually, I just think that you have to change people for it to get back to some kind of a normal again. And Europe will, obviously. We have our elections, and hopefully the next people, or eventually, they will be more for peace than this bunch of leaders that we have today.